I'm going to keep it a buck, try and make this as quick and efficient as possible. But basically, a lot of you have good book ideas, but you don't know how to format or create a printable Word document. So you can't write a book on an 8.5 by 11 and print that out because that basically just looks very amateurish, like you have no idea what you're doing. So whether you have a dissertation or you have a perspective book of poetry or you have whatever project you want to work on, you got to know how to format, and this is basically how to do that using Microsoft Word. I don't use Pages, and I don't use anything else. I just use DocX Microsoft Word. So I'm going to show you basically how to format your book here. So you can see, like today I'm going to work with Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, classic literature piece. So you'll see on Amazon, a lot of people sell, they sell like reprinted literature. So whether it's the Metamorphosis or Alice in Wonderland or Moby Dick, could be any one of these older pieces of literature. Basically, this is what they're doing, and I don't really recommend you do this like for reprints because it's already been done. But again, if you want to make your own work, this is how you do it. So open up Word, basically go to Format, which is up top, and this is what you're gonna do. Format, Document, and you're gonna go to Page Setup right here. Okay, you're gonna go to Paper Size, and this is gonna be probably the most important step. But you'll notice that most books today, especially in the United States, they're printed on 6 by 9. That's 6 inches width, 9-inch height. That's obviously, it's a somewhat of a larger book size, but I like it. If you want to go smaller, I think smaller is better for literature pieces. I think 5.5 by 8.5 or 5 by 8 is always good. Let's just do 5.5 by 8.5. You can customize it, obviously manage custom sizes, and here put in the width and height that you want. Obviously check with your printer. I know Amazon, they have like select sizes. I use Mixam, mixam.com, to print out my books. They also have select sizes, so you got to make sure your printer will be able to fulfill that order. But basically, this is the most important part. It's just making sure you have the right paper size. Scaling, keep it at 100, portrait, and then that's basically okay. Now, as far as margins go, you can see you want to click here, multiple pages, do mirror margins. That means you're going to have an open face book. Obviously, that's what you need. You can play around with the margins. I'll tell you right now, like, you're probably going to want 0.7 top, 0.7 bottom. That's usually what I mess with. Okay, as you can see, there's space up top, space on the bottom, so you could put like your header, which I'll show you, or I should say heading, and you could also put a footer, which will be the page number. As far as the outside goes, everyone's going to be different. I personally like 0.4, so that it kind of, or sorry, 0.45. You'll notice a lot of books are 0.5. You'll just play it with how you like it. The inside gutter, so when you see inside and gutter, those are your two numbers you're going to add up. But usually you want to keep it like 0.8 inch. So let's say I put the gutter as 0.5 and then the inside as 0.3. So you can just see right here, this looks pretty good. As far as like a prose piece, if you're going to do poetry, you probably want to make the outside a little bigger. So let's say 0.7, and you probably want to make the gutter a little bigger, so 0.8. And you can see how it's more narrow, which is better probably for poetry. But let's just go back to a prose text, just your average prose text. Doesn't matter what genre it is, but we'll keep it at this. Okay, I'll tell you this. If your pages are between 0 and 100, you're gonna need like a smaller gutter, maybe like 0.5, 0.6. But if your book is between, let's say, 200 and 400 pages, you're going to want a bigger gutter, let's say zero point 0.8. If your book is more than 400 pages, let's say 600 pages, you're going to want probably like a zero point 0.9 gutter, even a 1-inch gutter, because the thicker the book, when you open it up, the you'll just notice that the gutter takes more. You just need more space in the gutter because there are more pages. So you'll play around with these and figure out the formula for the right book. Just make sure mirror margins are on. Put whole document, because you don't want to do just this section. Click OK, and boom, we're ready to type, ready to go. Now, you'll notice for that first page, you're not going to use shit. That second page, not going to use shit. Now, as far as the third page, that's usually where your thingy-majig. Let me just pull up instead of rewriting the wheel here. Let's do waiting for nothing. Can exit out of that. It just takes a little bit of time to make this, so I'm just gonna cut and paste from a previous book of poetry that I have. But you'll notice this should go over. This should be like center page, and this should be also centered. And what you can do to make it more fancy is just copy and paste, make a smaller one. So basically, and this, by the way, if you want to insert design, shit, I forget. Oh yeah, go to insert, go to shapes, rectangle, you just draw it. Now you want to make it blank, and then you want to right click, send it to back. Okay, that's how I make them. And then you can just copy and paste, make a thicker one. If you want to change the thickness, just put your cursor over it, right click, go to format shape, go to line width. Now 1 is pretty thin, that's good for an interior, and then 2 would be good for an exterior. And then obviously you want to probably change the color. Alright, so let's change this one. Whatever, I'll make it 125. This can be a little tricky here. You want to just take your time. Make sure you're creating a nice even border throughout. And you can see this is not perfect. It just takes a lot of patience here. You gotta make it whatever. Like, this is just demonstration purposes, but I'll spend more time making it perfect. Sometimes I'll even add like a third. Get it real spiffy. This can be a pain in the ass. Sometimes you gotta move the entire thing over. Not important. I'll spend more time fixing that and everything, but yeah, I mean, your third page is gonna be that cover page. You can fix it to however you want. I personally like to put the date. Now, I'm also going to grab from a previous document. On the fourth page, that's where you want to put your copyright. You can make that language however you want it. I already have mine pretty set in stone. Sometimes I make it Avenir, sometimes I make it a serif font, so it just depends on what I'm feeling. But also I like to put, and I think this is just a publisher's courtesy, put the font type. So here I'm going to put let's just say Baskerville, size 11, single space, whatever, right? Oh, I think copyright should be about 9, because you want it small and looking fancy. I don't know what's the deal. Here we go. Obviously this ISBN is going to change. All right, and then the next page is going to be your contents, table of contents. Now, I'll show you how to make this in a moment, but I like Savoy centered. Make that a little bigger, 14. Actually make it 16. To make your contents, you basically, let me pull up the text. So anything that's in the public domain, it's probably already online. It's probably already on Project Gutenberg. So you can literally just go to projectgutenberg.org, search the text you want, and you can literally just copy and paste this entire thing. So we're just literally gonna copy and paste this entire thing. Copy. Okay, we're out of contents. And we usually just start right away. Boom. Now you can see that this text is very big for the page. I will say most fonts do well with a size 11. You will print out your books and make the ultimate decision. But just a tip here, go to the bottom, click at the bottom, then scroll all the way to the top. And go above the text, press down Shift, then click. Then you highlighted everything. Obviously you could do Control A, but I didn't want to do that here because then that would have selected the copyright page and the front page thing. So now let's change this to, we can do honestly any text. I usually print with Garamond, but you can do Palatino. Let's just try that out. I think that looks pretty good. And let's see 11. That looks pretty aight. So this is a big deal here, spacer. Okay, even though you kind of have to just reset this bullshit because it's not always fixed. So click the spacer, add space before, add space after, and then you want to remove space before, remove space after. It's just a pain in the ass thing that you kind of have to do. Fix the margins here. I don't know why that's fucked up. But yeah, I usually just do single space. I've fucked with, like, you could do Command Alt M, or because this is a really important, you got to know how to pull up the paragraph thing. Or you could just right click and then go to paragraph. But this is kind of your home base as far as fixing the indentation, spacing, all that shit. So go to indentation, first line. I like a 0.15 look. I think that looks good. I think too big of an indent looks immature. Spacing, single. Now you can go to exactly and mess with the point. That's how you can get really like precise, but I usually like to respect the font itself and just because every font's gonna have its own type of spacing, so I usually just go with single to respect the font. Now, don't add spacing. I guess we'll do that. Let's just see how this works. So the spacing, you don't need to mess with this. Line spacing, keep it at single. Indentation, first line always, and then 0.15. Let's just see how this looks. Okay. Not bad at all. Now, I wonder why. You know what it is? Sometimes when you copy and paste, you're holding on to their old formatting, so that's why this thing is so wide. But let's just say if we... Oh shit, that didn't really do it. I wonder, I think there's a picture here. Like, I don't know why this is... Like, why is that so wide? This text is not the best because it came with pictures, which you can always adjust it, or I might just pull up a different Gutenberg file, one that's just more plain text and just deal with that shit. This isn't terrible though. Although I don't really like what the hell is this? This is like a hold up, let me open this. Yeah, there's just a lot of bullshit in this text, but it's all good. Delete, whatever. Let me just show you fundamentals. So chapter 1 is gonna begin, and you can do this however you want. Like chapter 1, I like to just, why not, right? Center it. So this is what you're gonna do. By the way, the first line in any text, whether it's an essay or a book or a chapter, the first line is never indented, okay? So just keep that a buck. Now, you can see already this is looking pretty good. I really like, you see how this is fitted in the frame and this is not? There's something here. There's something here. It's a little wonky. Like I can see, I don't know how to get rid of. Oh, let's see. I don't want to waste time here. You know what? Forget it. We'll just keep going. But here's what you got to do. So the text is all there, right? But you got to create the table of contents. So you got to know how to use this thing up here. So you have normal, snow spacing, author bio, heading 1, 2. There should be 3, 4, 5. But let's make every chapter heading 1. You got to know how to do this. So right click heading 1, modify it, and then this is your properties for the chapter. So let's just keep it Palatino. Let's make the chapter a little bigger. Let's bold it, keep it black, center it, add to template, and that should be all right. You can give it a name, chapter headings. Palatino. And that's it. So it's right there for you. All you got to do is just highlight every chapter, click chapter heading, And you got to go through the entire text and do that. This is obviously not perfect. You're going to have to mess with shit. Now, pictures, just right click on wrap text. I usually do tight or square. That way you can move them around. Whatever this is. There's just a lot of bullshit here, like, there's some formatting issues here, but now you can go faster, Control F. Let's do chapter 4. You're gonna highlight it, chapter heading, chapter 5. Highlight it, chapter heading. Go through all of them. And when you're done, you're basically gonna go to your table of contents, insert, references, table of contents. Now you wanna customize it, and you can just, this is however you wanna do it. I personally don't do dots. I just keep it a buck. All right, boom. And you're gonna change this however you want, whatever font you want to make it. Now, the other thing is, when you're gonna be changing the page numbers a lot, so don't worry about these numbers being off. But when you're done, you're gonna go to your table of contents right here. You're gonna right click it. You're gonna do update field, and you're gonna do update page numbers only, because you don't want to redo the entire table, and that will update the page numbers for you. You're probably gonna have to change the font again. Whatever. Now, here's another thing, like, okay, I have a previous video on this, but so you can see how these pages, there's nothing up top here, right? Oh, let me just put page numbers on the bottom. That you're gonna have to create sections for, layout, breaks, next page. Learn to use this P paragraph button. So that's a next break. So that means this section is new. It's its own thing. And what you're gonna do is, you're in header and footer. You gotta just right click the bottom, and then you'll go to header and footer. Go to page number, format page number. Start at 1. Okay. You also want to go to page number, decide if you want it on the outside. You can put it at the top page, and I'll show you how to do that, but let's just say it's on the bottom, and we're gonna do, let's just keep it center. And if you want, just Control A, change the font. I like to make the page numbers same font. Okay, and then you can double click back to the text, and you're here. Now, right click the footer. You can see here, header from the top, footer from the bottom. Make this lower, because you can see this page number is too high. Bring it down. Let's just say 0.3. That looks sweet. I have a previous video on how to do this, but let me give you the quick run low, or run through, the down low run through. You're going to click, go to your first page, deselect link to previous. Okay? Because you don't really want page numbers you don't want page numbers here. This is not page number area. So this section 1 and 2 are separated now. And I'm going to highlight section 1 and just delete that shit. So now we're just 1, 2, 3, and we're going all the way to the end zone. Okay, that's fine. Now, as far as you'll notice, if you look at any book, you'll notice that chapter 1, just the chapter page doesn't have a header, but the next pages will. So like the page 2, let me just put this, look at view and multiple pages. This is good. So you'll notice that the next pages, like this will have Lewis Carroll, and then the next page will have Alice in Wonderland chapter 1. So that if you're just anywhere in the text, let's say you're here, you're reading it, you look up top, you'll see Alice in Wonderland chapter 4. So you know what chapter you're in, and like the other page will have Lewis Carroll. So it repeats throughout the entire novel, but it's important because sometimes you're reading and you don't know which chapter you're in currently, and this just helps. I'm going to show you how to do it right now. Okay. So you can see section 1, section 2. Now, different first page. Again, we're focusing on section 2 right now. Different first page. Page 3 will be wait, I'm missing something here. Okay, you also have to, so different first page, and you also have to do different odd and even pages. Okay, so we're gonna put, and we want to change the font here. Keep it Palatino. Make it smaller though, because it's a detail. It's not the text. Lewis Carroll. And we'll keep that aligned left. We'll do this one aligned right. We'll do Alice in Wonderland. Sorry. This also needs to be this needs to be 10. I like to personally sometimes you can add a bottom border, makes it a little more fancy. And that's it, folks. So Lewis Carroll, Alice, blah, blah, blah. Now, for every chapter, you have to do this. So at the bottom of chapter 1, you have to, and I keep this paragraph button on, but you have to insert, page break, wait, sorry, go to layout, breaks, next page. Always deal with this one. Next page, and so let's just go to home. All right. So we're gonna right click, we gotta open up the header shit. So you can see this is section 2, and then chapter 2 will begin the next section. Again, you have to do the same thing as before. So deselect link to previous. And wait, hold up. All right, let's see how this goes. I'm a little curious about this right now. Hold up. So this is, every chapter is a new section, right? New section. Let's see here. Oh, so you have to basically click on each one. I would do unlinked previous, unlinked previous. Okay? Because you have to. This will be chapter 2. And that's, you can see how this will be chapter 2 repeating. So chapter 1, okay, this will be chapter 2, perfect. Let me just get rid of this. Now, as far as the spacing goes, it's not perfect. Let's see how we can fix this. Like, for example, I want this to come down. Let's see if that does it. Increase the top margin, and it does. But that's a bit much. I want to go back. Keep it at 0.75. Perfect. So hold up here. This needs to be deleted. Okay. This needs to be deselected. Delete that shit. Delete that shit. I don't know why that did that. Here we go. You gotta go. You really gotta, you'll learn, but you gotta basically deselect the link to previous for like all the pages because they just have to be. So, because like each section is gonna be different, so they can't be connected. If that makes any sense, like home. I'm sorry if you hear my grandmother, she's a cunt. But basically, yeah, that's it. Just exit out. Boom. So you can see chapter 1, Lewis Carroll, Alice. Chapter 1, Lewis Carroll. Chapter 1, Lewis Carroll. Chapter 2 is deselected from it's not linked to previous. Lewis Carroll, chapter 2, Lewis Carroll, chapter 2. And you just keep going till the end. It's very meticulous work. It's not easy. Like, I'll even have to add page numbers here. Let me see about, I'm curious. I'm very worried why. I feel like you should be able to make the page numbers seamless, but you might have to just insert, continue from previous section, I think. The page numbers on the bottom. I just, it is what it is. I mean, there's a way to do it. I'm not really thinking right now, but 5, 6 chapter, like this should like you can see 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's good. So it seems to be going. Page number. I think I did it. It'll just work. And then you can control all and then basically change the font of that shit. But like I said, I'm probably not going to use, I don't know if I'm going to use this text because it seems a little wonky, but the best way to do it is like, if you're going to reprint literature, at least have a copy of like a Penguin or Oxford Classics, so you know it's like pretty faithful to the original script, and you can make it look how it does, because there's going to be like poems that are like, you want to make sure the poems are centered if they're centered in the original, and whatnot. But I mean, this is basically how to do it. Make sure you're in view multiple pages when you're dealing with the headings and shit. But that's basically it. I mean, what else? You have, these page numbers gotta go. Hold up. For this, okay, I deleted that. So this, when you open your book, that'll be your first page, which is a right-hand page, and then obviously this page will be what's behind it. So that's a left-hand page. This will be a right-hand page, which should be the cover page. This will be behind the cover page, which should be the copyright. I'll let you look at this shit a little bigger, but it should look like this. You can screenshot this and whatnot, but that's kind of how I do it. Everyone's going to do it differently sometimes. If you have a lot of info, like a lot of editors and shit, you're going to want 2 columns, right? You can just format it however you want, okay? It's art. Your next page should be the table of contents. Obviously, you could put a dedication page, you can put an epigraph page, but the table of contents should be there. You can have, after the table of contents, let's say a prelude or an introduction. Like, I probably would do that here. Introduction. And I would just write literary criticism about this shit. Okay, so Lewis Carroll, or like a little biography. Lewis Carroll was born in X town, England, 1834, whatever it is. So let's go to view multiple pages, edit header. This should be different. Different first page, your chapter page. Okay, so the reason why I did that is because this page and this page are connected. So you got to go to page 2, deselect. There's a way to do this. Hold up. This I don't know what I did here. Let me just go back a bunch. Let me go back some more. Whatever. I mean, you gotta fix it, but like this should be. Different first page. I don't know. This should be. I don't know why that's doing that. Whatever. I had it before. But yeah, I mean that's basically how you print your manuscript. Whether it's again a dissertation book, children's book. I mean you can make this. This is a vertical length book, but you can make a horizontal book. Go to document, page setup. See what I'm saying? Make it landscape, and that's a children's book right there. Change the size to however you want it. Again, keep fonts generally, like when you print out, it looks, you generally want a small size font, like 11 usually looks great. Just a couple things, when you put your text, make sure you, like if you're copying and pasting, add a space before, add a space after, then remove a space before, remove a space after. That'll clean up the file. I usually go with single space. Again, format, document. You can mess with the margins. You want to do, like, depending on, but you might want to do whole document or the selected sections. Format, paragraph is really important, or you could right click paragraph, or you could Command Alt M. Indentation, spacing, don't add a space between paragraphs, select that. And you're gonna have to, you know what it is? Insert, sorry, references. Sorry, layout breaks, next page. You can't see it, so you have to put the paragraph. Oh shit, it was already there. This can get a little finicky. How do I remove a page break here? Usually you can highlight it pretty easily. Whatever it is. I don't want to waste more time. But that's it. Then you can upload this, like I said, to Amazon or Mixam, mixam.com, and you have a printable book.